Webtoon has been going in on promoting Purple Hyacinth, and it's been a hot minute since they've done this. A trailer for Lauren Sinclair was dropped about a week ago on Webtoon's YouTube channel, and let me tell you, it was nice. If you haven't checked it out, please do so before continuing this video, as I'll be talking about the various components here. And a spoiler warning, please be up to date with the series. At this point, the latest chapter is 97. I gave myself a week deadline, so I couldn't find all the panels that the amazing editor used for the promo, but let me know where the ones that I missed are from, and if I got some of the panels that I selected incorrectly. Now, let's begin. I'm not too sure who exactly made this trailer because there were no credits in the description or anything, but they did an amazing job. Although I didn't like the music choice personally, the editing was so fine. And that palette they used with the reds, the pinks, the blues, and the purples meshed so well with our stories palette as well. So let's go basically frame by frame so I can gush over how well it came out. We start off with the banger 5 seconds, which sets the stage for the rest of the trailer. The bold pink and red box as it outlines Lauren so much so that her hair is also dyed even brighter than usual, and we are drawn into the other areas that have this similar color. The X's on the case unclosed, and then the bloody purple hyacinth. It's interesting that the circle is so bright when the blood on the actual flower is desaturated with the blue filter. Then we look around to the other blue things like the ATST and Harvey's eyes from the prologue looking at all that red. And finally the words, I know. For us, the fans who know the story, we know that Lauren means when she says I know because her main ability is lie detection. The irony is that it's in red as well. Doesn't necessarily mean much since she can't detect her own lie, and if it was written in blue, it wouldn't have popped out as much as it does now. Also, we have a grid and blue lines representing Lauren's board and the red thread she uses to connect the dots, and this will be a recurring theme throughout the trailer. The images shown in this first shot was pretty cool because it tells a subtle narrative based on where they were taken from. Now, obviously, I don't know if this was the intention of the edit or by our authors, if they wanted this point across, since these are just my thoughts and this will be my interpretation of the finished product. Lauren's thank you from the prologue is her putting a front that she was able to save everyone from another bombing when she felt that she failed last time 10 years ago. The way the black covers her top half of her head as well as smears the case closed tells us two things. Even if she knows a lie, she can't see the truth, and the case unsolved is still shrouded in mystery. And you can twist that I know phrase. Maybe in this case it is a lie because Lauren didn't know that Harvey was part of the Phantom Scythe until after his death. To the next scene, when you were lying, and we see Kieran in the backdrop. We know that Kieran is the one who has told the most amount of lies throughout the most amount of episodes for a variety of reasons, whether it is to throw off Lauren's attention or to do it to save face or not reveal actual important information. In the background is the gun from the beginning of the prologue, and the bullet cuts through the screen, firing from the opposite direction, suggesting to us that even if Lauren knows that Kieran is lying, she can't predict it or the outcome because it'll come from the other side, a place that she can't expect it from. And the bullet breaks apart the your, telling me that it's not Kieran that she doesn't really understand, even with her special insight, but others as well. Kieran is a cheater, but so is Lauren. Both are going outside the law to get what they want, rejecting the system because it doesn't allow for justice or for their desires. But since that same system is still here to stay, they are considered cheaters. I like how we see the first form of the recurring theme of triplets, with Lauren originally shaded in red as part of the cheaters. I don't exactly know what the triples are implying here, but it's a repeated theme that we see throughout this trailer as well. Kieran is also cut in half from the original panel, with the first half tied to the quote, "We are monsters," with his eyes here in this trailer gouged out and the head circled. It makes it seem like the monster has a target on its head. And although Kieran isn't referring to Lauren in the original panel, she can easily see herself as a monster after what happened to the loon victims. The second half of Kieran's chest hanging out is tied with a quote, "I kill without hesitation," which we know is both true and false. He needs to have a proper reason to kill, and that killing whoever it is the final option that needs to be taken. Our next scene has the word Scumbags splattered everywhere, and a succession of 3 of Lauren shaking hands from the prologue. Even though she stopped the bombing here in the prologue, she still sees herself as inadequate because she has failed in the past, costing the lives of those that she loved. And that the Phantom Scythe are scumbags because they're the ones orchestrating all the pain. It's important to note that Kim from episode 8 arrives in the shot in the top right, but this is the first time that we see a blue X pointing to us to kind of think, and I think we know, that Kim is not one of these scumbags. Murderers. Kirian looking at Lauren for the first time is where this central panel comes from, and we see one of the 2 victims of the Purple Hyacinth from the beginning of our story. This event set everything into motion, as we later find out that this is what got Sandman to also make moves, as well as due to the leader's orders and Kirian's execution. Kirian is a murderer, but we cut to Lauren in the center as well, so we can deduce that Lauren is also a murderer in this case, because she is one of the reasons that all the Loon victims died in the tower. The cut across her face may be some foreshadowing of an injury she will receive in the future, or just that she will also get cut down by the same murderers she is hunting herself. The next scene is one of my favorites. It stitches together the deal and the breaking of that deal from episode 10 to episode 50. I'm assuming the middle figure is Kirian, but this is the first panel that I couldn't find within the time frame that I gave myself. So let me know who this is actually and where it's from. Lauren radioing in the time that she captured Kirian to the 2 sides of the deal that are on opposite sides of the screen, where Kirian won't answer why he hesitated and still puts up a front, and Lauren holding the gun because, well, Kirian infiltrated the 11th district as an archivist, putting Lauren's co-workers at harm. Lauren's gun is pointed at the head of the assassin, or maybe it's the leader, but the ricochet of the shots, as shown in the blue thread that hunting for the top of the Phantom Scythe, will end up putting the crosshairs on both Kirian and Lauren. Beautiful symbolism with this scene. A rip Kirian's glasses. Lauren vibechecked him here at the beginning of season 2. Again, the grid serves as a board and a backdrop for the conflicts and actions that take place in our story. Like the lines say, even if they are close in proximity, they are not friends at all. The next transition takes us back to the first fight that Kirian and Lauren had when they met. It's cool that the editor added the gun flying out of Lauren's hand from the next chapter into this scene. We also see her masks flying away in a set of 3. Lauren is exposing herself and putting herself at risk, but for what? For the sake of the truth that she believes she can see. We also get a little background shot of the buildings in Orhalis to set the scene, and the grid that was the backdrop has moved to be the foundation for Lauren's attacks as she hunts for the truth. We see 3 versions of Lauren from different areas of our story, from the Blakesleys at the end of their Loon takedowns, to the end of their deal at the beginning of season 2, to a fantasy with Lauren from the Cleanse Me banner. Although this is just a small comparison, since Lauren has gone through way more progression throughout the story thus far, it's nice to see that we have 3 sets on the sides to show that she's continuing to progress in her journey. On the left, we have Tristan's mansion, who's a key figure in her finding the truth, since Tristan is a little sus and we still don't know exactly what he knows and what he plans to do with that knowledge. And of course, Sandman, who pulls the rug out from Lauren at the Circus Royale and gets Lauren to acknowledge that her parents were part of the organization that she vowed to take down. This scene is cool because it ties in a few different things into one compact image. We see the mirroring of the revolution and the Annandale train bombing depictions from Lauren's POV, showing us that after years of war, she's learned that both sides are at fault. There's no difference between good and evil because everything is gray and complicated. Revolution and war are just gateways into pain and suffering, and these ideals that she abides by with the APD is no different from the ideals that the apostles from the Phantom Scythe follow, as both are seeking their own form of justice. Catching someone in a lie is pretty hard. The first time that we see Lauren using her ability for Loon was against McTrevor, as shown here. She really went all in and played him around to get the information that she wanted. But did it really get her closer to the truth? Somewhat, as a few answers are solved, but more questions just popped up. It's also interesting that the middle shot was cropped together because Lauren leaned in when she said, "You can't keep anything from me," and Trevor opening his mouth is when he lied to her face, hence catching them in the lie. The background has the window shot from episode 6, which is just a really nice panel showing Lauren's determination for her cause. She is willing to go further for that truth. As the next scene shows, finding that truth even with the lies is a lot harder than imagined. It's so funny that they almost use the kiss bait as finding the truth because, of course, colored in our lies because, well, this is clearly a lie. Purple Hyacinth isn't a romance. Stop promoting it as one. Yes, there's subtle flirting, but also no, stop, please. Anyways, the other scenes show intimate moments between our two leads from the time that Lauren cuffed Kieran when they first met to the time that she was in his apartment overnight and they found commonality in the books that they might have read when they were little. To Lauren's vulnerable moments after the prologue bombing attempt and her murder board. Finding the truth is very hard. And we see two very different things, even if the past and present are similar, like with the training academy from episode 24 or 25, where the central panel is taken from, the reality is far different. And we also see Kim once again in the top right, and as our story is currently progressing in the most recent arc, our poor Kim is dealing with the same dilemma of catching a lie and finding the truth and how different and hard it is to justify it. Our final shot is of the logo with the red bullet holes leaking the lies onto the scene. The background has Lauren pushing through smoke in the prologue to the messenger disappearing from the camellia, as well as some series shots of Kieran and Lauren, which I'm not too sure where they're from. The blue is gone. The truth is hiding under this guise of lies, and it is up to Lauren and us to find out what is really going on. That is all for the video. A 1-minute trailer that is overly and hyper analyzed by yours truly. I mean, I think we spent 10 times the amount of time to look through each bit, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this sort of stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe, as I do weekly Purple Hyacinth chapter reviews. I hope this video ties you over for our 1 week break, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.